Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm Big Gold Nation this evening here with Coach Scott Berry. Thank you for joining us today, Coach. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And just want to talk to you a little bit about the upcoming season, the off season. Tell me, it was such a wonderful season last year for the Golden Eagles. I mean, 50 plus. You got to host a regional. What did you do in the off season to kind of wind down, just to kind of get away from baseball? Because I'm pretty sure that's something you wanted to do a little bit.
Well, honestly, it never did really slow down. Once the season ended, of course, recruiting was full swing at that time. I was in the process of trying to replace guys that had signed professionally, the juniors, and then, of course, losing our pitching coach, Mike Federico, and then hiring the addition of Christian Ostrander, our new pitching coach. So, really never had any downtime, honestly. And then we rolled right into the fall camp, and then the off time, I guess, has been after the early sign period back in November to point where we are now.
Well, let's talk about Coach Oz. You bought him in Louisiana Tech, very successful there. What did he bring? What does he bring as a coach that you thought would be a good fit with this team?
Well, I think number one, he's a high character individual, and that's what I want in our program with our staff. And I think that's very important. And when we look at the overall and development of our young men, it's not just on the field. I know a lot of times that's what we're judged for. But for me as the head coach, it's very important that we develop these young men to be outstanding citizens once they leave Southern Miss and represent not only our program but represent our university as they carry on into their own lives. So, I thought that he certainly brought that. I've known Christian since 1991. When he was a junior college pitcher for Mississippi Delta. So I've known him a long time, watched his career progress and develop, not only as a player but into the coaching, and I've always been very impressed with how he develops these pitchers and gets them ready to go. So great addition to our program.
Well, not only that, but he knows the area recruiting wise as well, and just has good relations. Which brings me into this year's team. You're replacing a lot of players on this year's team. I mean, you don't ever say you replace people like McCarty or Brayley. You just don't do it, but you try to bring people in because, number one, character, number two, the type of men they are, number three, the baseball players they are. Right. What is this pitching staff looking like coming in? I know there's a lot of questions. What is the pitching staff looking like right now this far along?
Well, I think anytime you lose three quality pitchers and people like you did in McCarty, Brayley, and Hayden Roberts, certainly as juniors, you can't ever prepare for that. It would be nice to have them back as seniors, but that's the way our sport goes, and I'm very excited for those young men and their new career of professional baseball, and something they've worked very hard for, and it was something that they felt like was best for them. So fully supported by me in that decision that they made. But moving forward, now it's time for some guys to really step up. I feel like we have brought in some guys from other programs, whether it be high school or junior college, but we also have guys in place where it's their time to step up, and that's the challenge right now in trying to create this pitching staff and the depth, the quality depth that we're trying to put out there for this spring.
Now, you're talking about pitching, and you're talking about bringing in like a Mason Strickland and some other people like that. Who are guys that you can see immediately stepping in and filling some needs, maybe in middle relief? I don't know if starting is much an issue, but maybe middle relief onto the closer to get to Nick.
Well, I think certainly Mason Strickland's one that you mentioned there. Another one's Adam Jackson, a left-handed pitcher from Hines Community College. Has tremendous upside in being able to help to bridge that gap to get from the front end to the back end of the game. You have other guys, left-handers, freshmen in Jacob Wyrick, Ryan Ock from Minnesota. Those guys have upside. They're all new to this level of game, so that's what's kind of unproven right now, Heath, with where our staff is. But they give us excellent opportunities. Jared Wright was another junior college transfer who logged in a lot of innings as a starter at Northwest Community College, but maybe asked to play a little different role this year. A guy that comes out of the pen that can really throw strikes.
And you look at you look at the guys you got back. You got J.C. Colt. I mean, some guys. Matt even probably started. He's probably going to pitch. I don't know. I mean, I know you don't want to give away like how much he's going to pitch or whatever, but I'm pretty sure he's going to see some time on the mound. You've got some return people. You've got some returners that have some experience on that mound. It's not like you're coming into it, without anybody that's not been there before. You do have plenty of experience there.
We do. The uncertain right now is experience as starters. Colt did log in experience as starters, and we feel good about that. JC did as well. Stevie Powers, in his 2 years that he's been here, he had 5 starts as a freshman, 2 as a sophomore. We're going to look for him to turn that corner and turn his game up like it needs to be. So, we do. We have people in place. Calder Michael, is another one that needs to really step up. He's 4th year now in college baseball, so it's time for him to take his game to another level. So that's the challenge going into the spring, and that was a challenge this fall as well.
Well, let's go to fielding a little bit. Seems like you got a couple of places to replace outfield-wise. I've seen things where you're saying that Warner maybe moved to right field. What is your outfield situation looking like? I mean, are you feeling pretty good about defense and speed out there?
I am. I think we have tremendous depth out there. We have 7 guys that can really play and give what we need. I think, and those guys are Irby, Jalen Keys, Matt Wallner, Daniel Keating, Freddie Franklin, Gabriel Montenegro. We've moved Slater from left field to first base, but he's logged in 2 years prior in the outfield. So we have a lot of depth that we can utilize in the outfield. Feel really good about it.
And even in fielding right now, I mean, you've got plenty coming back, but you got a couple of holes. But it looks like when you look at this team, as far as talent, how would you rank it among the teams you've had here? Because this is a very talented group. It's just some of them don't have a lot of experience, but the talent's there.
It is there. I mean, there's no doubt. But the one variable that nobody can really predict and that you hope that every team has is chemistry. And, that chemistry is built in the locker room. That chemistry is built through guys accepting their roles. And we got 35 guys, Heath, that want to be in the starting lineup. And I tell every one of our guys, I tell our team, the philosophy is this. It's my job to put the best 9 out on that field. The best 9 that start the game aren't necessarily the best 9 that end the game, nor is it the best 9 in the middle of the game. So at the end of the game, be one of the best 9 to help us win a game of baseball. And I have said that several times, as you probably just could tell. But there's so much truth to that. But what it all involves is chemistry. And you can be the talentedest group. Alabama every year in football has talent. It doesn't mean they're going to win on the field. They have to come together as a unit. They've got depth. They're 3 and 4 players deep that can be starting at everybody else. But do they accept their role that their team asked them? And I think that's the challenge again this year, and it's the unanswered question. Yes, we have talent, but we've got to come together and play as a team this spring.
Something that's kind of interesting you say that, because that was going to kind of go into my next line of questioning. Last year, the year before, what do you think you took away from last season that'll make you a better skipper this year? What is something that you may learn last season that just maybe clicked, or it was something that just was a revelation to you, like, this can make me a better coach? Was there anything, or is it just the experience that you've had over years?
Well, I think, of course, this is my 33rd or 34th year. I don't really know. It's been a long time, and I've learned a lot of hard lessons, as anybody has that's been in the game. I think the further I get in my career, the more that you put the trust in your players to go out and play. Our philosophy and everything that we do is instilled in the fall. Right now, when we come back prior to the spring opener, February 16th, it's all refreshing. All we're doing is refreshing what we learned in the fall. So, good players go out there and play, and I think coaches need to let their players go out there and play. Certainly, you've got to be able to direct them and manipulate some things, but you got to stay out of their way and not overcoach and let them go out there and play. That's why they're in your program.
Okay. Now there's a couple of questions from Big Gold Nation members they wanted to ask you right quick. And one of the big questions they had was, you have been an Under Armour guy, and they've been really good for the baseball program. Everybody likes uniforms. It's so nice. Moving to Adidas, do you see a transition there, or do you think, as long as you have the same bats, gloves? I mean, do you see anything? Do you see any difference there?
Well, I mean, it's solely apparel. You know, it was what was best for our university. I have really enjoyed our partnership with Under Armour. I've been the only sport on campus that has had Under Armour, and it's been great for us for the past 8 years. But you know, we're asked to move in a different direction with Adidas, so we're going to open it with open arms with them and invest everything that we have in Adidas. They're a very fine apparel company, one of the top. So we're very fortunate that there's companies out there that want us, and so we're gonna embrace them July 1st. But you know, certainly Under Armour has been a very good program and apparel company for us.
Another question Big O Nation had. Mississippi State Series, first series of the year. A lot of hype around this. I think NCAA baseball has it the #1 ranked series of opening weekend in college baseball. What has that fever been like for the baseball team? Are they starting to feel the excitement a little bit? And are they starting to really get anxious when they see the excitement for the tickets, people demand for tickets and different things? What's it like for them?
You know, I'm sure it's exciting. We don't talk about it. You know, it's my job to have them focused on playing the game of baseball, not playing the opponent. We can't get emotionally tied up in who it is that we play over there. Otherwise, you're going to have ups and downs, and we don't want a roller coaster. We want consistent out of our play from day in to day out. We talk about the most important game on our schedule is the game that we're fixing to play. Doesn't matter who it is. The most important game, not the most important opponent. It's the most important game, and it happens to be February 16th, and it happens to be Mississippi State. But once again, we're not focusing on it's Mississippi State, and I mean that. I have the utmost respect for Mississippi State, as I do all of the opponents that we have on our schedule. But we're trying to win the game of baseball against an opponent and play it better than they do.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking time with Big O Nation and with 98.1 WMXI. And as I say, for all the Big O Nation, we wish you nothing but the best this year. We'll be at the Pete every chance we get, rooting Eagles on. And God bless you. Good luck to you, sir.
Pete, thank you very much.